Hi, dear friends on YouTube. What I'd like to do in this short video is to introduce you to a fairly unusual guitar. Many of you will know this guitar already and may even have it. Some of you might just be looking for something a little bit different. If you're like me, you love the Telecaster shape. You're seeing the background, I've got my American Performer Telecaster, which sounds and feels great. But it's it's a tool that gives me a narrow palette of sounds, and sometimes I like to reach for something else, like my Gretsch. I really love the sound of a Gretsch, it's a bit different. But I was looking for something that would give me some of the fun of a Stratocaster. The three pickups, the out of phase selection between pickups, the floating trem system of a Stratocaster. You don't really get that on a Telecaster. And I can't think of what else, but lots of little features like that. So on doing some research around this, I found one of these. This is a Fret King. It's a Fret King Country Squire and it's a Country Squire Semitone Deluxe, because they seem to do some Country Squires which are more like ES335 and various derivatives of hollow body guitars. This one absolutely tickles me pink. I love it. It's a beautifully finished, beautifully made guitar, quite affordable, brand new. They go for anything between $630 and $730 UK pounds. So compared to an American Telecaster, it's significantly less expensive. The finish is fantastic on it. I just love it. And the features, just to take you through, it has locking tuners. All of the hardware seems to be by Wilkinson, which is great. Wilkinson hardware is very decent, very good hardware. It's never going to cause me a problem. But what's then unusual about it is that it has a Strat style tremolo arm, standard spring rare, in this case 3 strings, which is good because I always have a fairly heavy gauge of string with a wound third. I think it's because I'm an acoustic player primarily. I overbend even just playing open chords on the light strings that tend to come on electric guitars. But how unusual is this? This Wilkinson trem, it is actually Wilkinson branded, actually you can see it subtly on the inside there, has 3 brass saddles like a standard Telecaster. So this is many of the features of a Telecaster, and they're compensated. And of course, in terms of the action of this trem, bring some sound in. It's floating, so you get both directions of movement. The tuning, actually not just well, very well. It really feels like a good well set up Strat trem, 2-point mounting, so friction is very low indeed. When I put my strings on, I did put a little bit of nut sauce lubricant in the slots here. I did mention it's got locking heads. I think that helps the simplicity of setup. So that's me bumping the headstock. In addition, it has 3 pickups, and it's worth just saying what's going on here, because we have a humbucker at the rear, a full wide humbucker. We have a Stratocaster single coil centre, and we have a mini humbucker at the front. That's very unusual. We have a 5-way Strat selector switch, so you can get most combinations. I know lots of guitars will let you have this pickup, the 2 middle and bridge together, the neck and the bridge together, or any of them alone. But some guitars also have a switch that you can pull that will let you get the front and rear pickups, so that you can get that Telecaster sound of the neck one and the bridge one together. And I regret this doesn't have that. That's a modification I may make to it myself soon though, because I find that quite appealing. Having said that, I don't need it because I've got a Telecaster. But here's the last thing that needs describing. This here, in terms of the controls, standard volume at the front, but you have this dual concentric pot, which has an inside rotary control and an outside rotary control. The outside rotary control is a tone control, very simple. I'll roll a little off. You can actually soften down quite nicely with it. Okay, so if I take the rear, the bridge pickup, and I'm just going to roll off the vario coil or vari-coil control, and we'll hear it in single coil mode. If I now roll it fully forward, I'm going to get the humbucking version of that. So just a little bit fatter. If I go in between, I'll just... You'll hear it vary. Honestly, it all kind of comes in round about there. So by only halfway round, but it is possible to get a kind of a blended sound, there's no doubt. In humbucker mode. Actually, the setting I'm using at the moment, which is for my own Telecaster, it's been overloaded a little bit there, so there's quite a lot of distortion. If I come back to single, you can hear it being just a little bit crunchy and dirty like my normal Telecaster gives. So the long and short is this instrument lets you go between a whole lot of tones. So I'll just go to the mini humbucker and I'll use it as a humbucker. Here we go. And you can go for tones in between. I don't think it's that subtle, to be honest. As soon as you bring any humbucker in, the sound thickens up so quickly that it's quite subtle. It's better than an on-off switch, but it's not a very fully variable sound, but it is slightly so. But here we go, single coil on the neck. You can hear it immediately, the lack of that humbucker power. I go to the in-between pickups on single coil mode, so this is kind of Strat-ish. Nothing sounds like a Strat, but it's pretty good. Here we go. Just for the single coil on its own in the centre, now you get your Clapton favoured single centre only. This is purely a Strat sound now. Go for the in-between sound now at the back, so it's single coil tapped at the bridge and it's the Strat centre. If I now bring in the humbucker, so I'm using the rotary control to untap the coil, so I've got a full fat wide humbucker at the back, quite a high output one I think by the feel of it, and the centre one. So you get some of that out of phase stratiness but with a bit of, a wee bit of the beans about it. Tell you, that's a sound I think I would use a lot. Down by the railway side, some worlds they were colliding. You don't need to be put through that. Just the humbucker at the back. If rock is your thing. So, the only other thing to mention is the other thing I really wanted in a Telecaster is a thin line. Being an acoustic player, I love anything that just adds a bit more hollowness and a bit more air and roundness of tone. That's why I love Gretsch's. This gives a little bit of that, and honestly I think from what I've experienced with this guitar so far, if I was only taking one guitar out of my whole collection to a gig, I'd be sorely tempted to make it this one, because I think I could get pretty much any sound I wanted between the tone controls here. I know I've said I would love to modify it to get front and back pickups on together. If I can find a way of doing that that doesn't change the appearance, I don't want to bolt on a toggle switch anywhere. It would need to be something like a push-pull volume control. I'll look into it, but I think it's a great guitar. I think it's a beautiful guitar. The distributor in the UK is JHS. I don't really know much about them. They claim Fret King to be a Corona Californian design company, but they're made in India. And just a little bit for your interest, I bought this as a used guitar. I got a very good price for it. It was actually listed as new, but I knew it was too good to be true, because I got it for a fairly low price. And when it came out of the box, first impression was it kind of looks new. It's in beautiful condition. It comes with its own gig bag, a very high quality, sturdy, semi-rigid gig bag. But actually a screw was missing here from the back, and would you believe that the roll-off coil tap only worked on the bridge pickup? It didn't work on the mini humbucker at the front. So I've actually had to repair it. I had to go in and get the soldering iron out. Thankfully, I'm not a guitar tech, but I understand enough about electronics to figure it out and fix it. Actually, when I was young, I used to study electronics, so it's not too strange to me. Still took me a while though. If you don't do it regularly, you have to read and think about it. But basically, the pot seemed to be either miswired or faulty, but I was able to work around it. And the other thing that was really kind of disappointing is that as soon as I'd fixed that, I'd restrung the guitar, and these posts, I'm going to just stand up and come closer, these posts that hold the 2-point trem popped out. And of course I thought, oh my goodness, what have I done? Have I bought a real pup of a guitar here? But actually, on reading, a lot of guitars that come from India or the Far East, after a while the wood shrinks once it comes here to the UK or countries like this, and the posts pop out. But there's great stuff on YouTube about how to fix them, so they're properly strongly glued in with the packing and everything, so they're back to normal. I'm really quite confident in it now. So the whole thing is beautiful, and the last thing you want to know is what's it made of. It's alder. It's a 2-piece body of alder, so actually that's pretty high quality. That's what you're getting in high-end guitars as well. It's obviously very Fender derived, and that's one of their favourite woods. Ash, alder would be two of the big favourites. Basswood and their or basswood, I don't know quite how you pronounce it, in the cheaper ones. And the neck, of course, is rock maple, and it is a proper rosewood fingerboard. That's becoming rarer and rarer these days. No bad thing, I'm all for the environment. But in summary, I think this guitar is just absolutely beautiful. I think I've already got a favourite position, and it's definitely the position between bridge and single coil. So I'll just give you a moment more with it, and then I will sign off. If you see one, I thoroughly recommend it. Wonderful guitar. Thanks for listening.